experience here at the University of Manchester. And on behalf of the university, I'd like to welcome you all to this Volunteer of the Year Awards. After 2 years of remote celebrations, it feels so great to be able to celebrate with you all here in person today. Today we're here to honour the remarkable volunteering work of our alumni, staff and students. I'm delighted to see that so many of the nominees are in the audience today, alongside friends and family, representatives of partner charities and not-for-profit organisations, and colleagues from across the university as well who are joining us. You are all really, truly very welcome here today, and thank you all so much for making an effort to be here with us, to join us at this important celebration. Before we announce the winners, I'm very pleased to welcome to the stage the University of Manchester's President and Vice-Chancellor, Nancy Rothwell, who is here to say a few words.
So thanks very much indeed, Kellyanne, and very, very warm welcome. It is great to be back and to be starting to have events in person again. And this is one of the most important of the year because it celebrates the incredible achievements of many, many people in the room. I just want to say a few words about why I think and my colleagues think this is so important. We're a big institution in a big and a great city, but a place where there is also a lot of inequality, a lot of poor opportunity, a lot of deprivation. And we, our students and our staff, make a huge difference to improving the lives of people around us, largely through volunteering, giving up your time, that very valuable resource, to help others around. You will probably all know we're still the only university in the UK that has social responsibility at its heart, one of our 3 core goals, along with research and teaching, and it is a lifelong commitment to making a difference to society, and that's on behalf of our staff, our students, our alumni, and all our major stakeholders. So we try to encourage all our staff, students and alumni to engage in the civic life of their own societies and be part of the wider community. And never has that been more important than in the period after COVID, when we all went through a pretty dreadful time. And actually some of the inequalities in our society got wider. We also want a Manchester undergraduate education that challenges students to adopt strong personal values in relation to their social and environmental responsibilities as educated citizens, and to leave this university, as I often say on that platform during graduation, with more than just letters after their name and perhaps an improvement in employability. We want students to leave this institution with a sense of commitment to society. We created something called Stellify, and not everybody knows what it means actually, but it means to change or be changed into a star. And the university wants all our students to stellify themselves here through a range of transformational academic and extracurricular activities, so that they stand out. But many of those opportunities you create yourselves. We don't have to do it for you. You are so much better than us at identifying things that you want to do, you want to commit to, and you want to change in society, and particularly in our region. So most of the volunteering that we'll be celebrating today takes part in the Greater Manchester City region, and that is really important to us as our near neighbours. But of course, some of that volunteering goes much further afield, some of it even international. So volunteering is, of course, important. It contributes to society. It makes us actually all feel good when we believe we've done something to the benefit of others. But for students, it also increases your employability and gives you additional skills that will help you in your future life. So it's always a real pleasure to be at these awards, to recognise, and I know we only have the tip of the iceberg, there are many, many others, and I know that, as always, the judges have a very, very difficult time selecting who goes into each category and who are the eventual winners. But now we're going to hear who the winners are, so I'll sit down for a moment before we go on to handing out the prizes. Yeah.
Thank you, Nancy. So before we start announcing the winners, I'm just going to cover some details about the judging and the nominations. So earlier this year, we invited nominations. They could be made in 4 distinct categories: students, student groups, staff and alumni. Most nominations were about volunteering that took place here in Manchester and in the UK, but we've actually had nominations that have taken place across the globe. We've received so many amazing nominations, and it's been so very difficult to shortlist. The nominations have demonstrated attributes such as exceptional leadership and innovation. The judging, as I say, was so tough. So huge congratulations to each and every one of you who have been nominated here today. Everyone who has been commended, highly commended and placed will receive a certificate, and first, second and third place nominees will also get a donation for the charity where they volunteer. In addition to the Volunteer of the Year awards, the overall winners in the individual categories will receive the University Medal for Social Responsibility, which is part of a suite of prestigious presidential awards given each year for distinguished achievements. Now, throughout the ceremony, we want you to be able to take photos, to cheer, to clap, to whoop for your friends and colleagues who've been nominated. So please do feel free to take photos and enjoy the event. It's a fun event. Please do take photos and post your social media profiles and such like. So I will get in there first and sort of set the tone really for the selfie. There. So I'll be posting that on socials. Please do that as well. And now it's time to pass you over to Melody Stephen, who is our General Secretary of the University of Manchester Students' Union, who's going to announce the student groups.
Today. My name is Melody. I'm the General Secretary of the Student Union, and everyone that is being commended or has won an award today are personally an inspiration to me, and really the core values of the union, myself and the university are really represented in the work that's been celebrated today, so I'm personally very proud to be here. So the first category is student groups. This recognizes those groups from 2 to 200 who have worked together to volunteer. We have 4 commended groups to recognize. The first commended group runs a sustainability, low-waste shop on campus. It is specifically aimed at a student lifestyle and budget in order to provide the best and most affordable access to sustainable living. Let's welcome to the stage, Want Not Waste. The second commended group supports students via an anonymous phone line during late hours between 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. As a confidential, non-judgmental service, it offers those students who aren't comfortable to speak openly to an anonymous venue where they can offload and seek support without feeling exposed. They are Nightline. The third commended award is for a group of students who bring a sense of community to men experiencing homelessness through cooking meals together in the hostel where the men live. This award goes to Stockport Food Project. The fourth commended group supports sixth form and college students from disadvantaged backgrounds to apply to medical school, running face-to-face and online workshops covering topics such as interview techniques, personal statement guidance, and more. It's Manchester Outreach Medics. We also have several groups that the judges wanted to highly commend. The first highly commended group provide a safe space for refugees and asylum seekers to practice their spoken English through friendly and informal conversation. They can't be with us today, but let's congratulate the Refugee and Asylum Seeker Conversation Club. The second highly commended group provides peer-led support for independent students across Manchester. It does this in a variety of ways, including organising social events, campaigning for more robust provision for independent students, and running workshops on practical support. They are Manchester Independent Students Projects. The third highly commended group provides social support to students who feel disconnected or lonely, matching volunteers and participants with online catch-ups and face-to-face events. This team are the Peer Buddy Scheme. The third highly commended group provides social support to students who feel, just announced that. The next highly commended group deliver fun, engaging, accessible workshops reaching literally hundreds of young people in primary and secondary schools and act as role models for students studying physics. They are the University of Manchester Physics Outreach. Our final highly commended group support primary school pupils in local schools to become confident and competent readers through small group reading sessions. Through COVID, they delivered bedtime story sessions and literacy activities via online delivery. So please put together your hands for reading mentors. We have joint third place winners. Our first third place group helps women who are homeless, hidden homeless, or living on the edge of poverty. The project aims to reduce period poverty by increasing access to essential sanitary products. They also work to reduce the stigma surrounding periods and raise awareness. Let's hear it for Once a Month. So our next third place group visits a homeless shelter for women and children every week and provide recreational activities for the residents. The sessions are designed to allow for easy interaction between the volunteers and shelter residents so that they can chat to one another, enjoy an activity together, and feel part of a wider community. It is Strathclyde Project. Our second place winner is a student-led sustainability project that seeks to raise awareness about environmental issues, food justice, and sustainability. They work with local communities to cultivate organic vegetables and herbs with the university and the wider community, which they can use and access free of charge. So please give a warm welcome to Incredible Edible. The winner of the Student Groups category is a nighttime street safety initiative where a group of trained student volunteers and student shift leads go out on a Friday and Saturday between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. to support the university community, to support the Manchester community. The volunteers work closely with the City Council and police to support their peers and the wider community. They help to keep nights out in Manchester safe for students and anyone who may have become vulnerable, including providing first aid and a listening ear.
Student Angels is a nighttime street safety initiative, and it sees groups of volunteers going up and down the Oxford Road corridor, normally between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. on a Friday and a Saturday night. They're there really for a variety of reasons, but it's all about improving community safety. That could be giving a bit of first aid, or it could be offering a cup of tea, or just someone to talk to. And it's all about improving the safety for the wider community.
Students gain a lot of different experiences while volunteering on this project, such as working with vulnerable people in a team to help them out. That could be getting them a taxi home or finding their friends. Also working to resolve conflicts between different members of the public. And on top of this, they also get first aid training and mental health first aid training. And a lot of our volunteers have taken this up as an opportunity to improve their skill set as volunteers, but also for projects they go on to do in the future.
One of the unique aspects of Student Angels is the relationship with the City Council and the local police. Our volunteers are trained to deliver low-level support, which reduces the need to call emergency services or get the police involved.
I think what makes this project really special is the commitment from the volunteers. Across the last couple of months, since September when the project restarted, the Angels have helped hundreds of people and making sure that students and the wider community can have a good night out.
The overall winner of the Volunteer of the Year Award Student Groups category is Student Angels. I'll now hand over to Catherine for the next category.
Now, a few minutes ago, Nancy stood here and said, she says on that stage, I wonder where you're going to go and take this sense. And that's exactly what I did. So I am so pleased to be back here and so pleased to be here in person. And I'm really pleased to be recognising the fantastic efforts of our alumni community. So we're going to start with our third place alumnus. Now, this person studied a BSc in physics, an MA in counselling, as well as a PhD in education. He's developed a truth, justice and reconciliation approach that's been applied in Switzerland, the European Union and the UK, for example, with Afghan women refugees. He can't be with us today, but let's show our appreciation for Dr. Royce Flew. Our second place winner has a global MBA. As chairperson of the Manchester Business School Alumni Association for Hong Kong, she coordinated a virtual run with 250 participants for the university's Student Hardship Fund. I put on my purple top and ran on the spot on social media, very uncharacteristic for me, but this winner kind of makes these things happen. So this supported the University Hardship Fund and other local charities as part of the Manchester Day of Action. She's watching on the live stream. It's Janny Shum. The winner of the alumni category studied a BA in History and American Studies. He is one of the founders of Football for Future, a charity with a mission to build a more environmentally sustainable culture in English football. This has included partnerships with Premier League clubs, Nike and the footballer Mason Mount.
Barney and I both run sustainability charities. Now, because this is an emerging field, at the moment there's not a huge amount of money in there, so it's mostly all volunteer driven. Being in a very similar place, we've both developed this very kind of casual, mutual, really lovely relationship that supports each other on those journeys and those learnings and those massive errors that we make along the way.
Barney's volunteering at Football for Future has no boundaries. He's the only full-time member of staff here with myself, and we're both co-directors together, which is a beautiful relationship and very supportive. Obviously, the mission of Football for Future is to build a more environmentally sustainable culture in the beautiful game. And in such a short space of time, we've been working with some of the most iconic brands in world football, whether this is Nike, Chelsea, Spurs, other clubs across the Premier League and lower down in the football pyramid. We're the only organisation that works exclusively with football players on climate advocacy campaigns as well. We've designed so many pioneering services together and managed so many trailblazing projects and relationships that bring together football and sustainability. And I'm sure this is just the beginning of an incredibly exciting journey for the both of us. I think that, transferring from a group of friends with an idea to being a trailblazing organisation that's set to become the home of sustainability in the world's biggest sport, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, is testament to a lot of the stuff that Barney's been working towards and the way that he's thrown himself into it, not only with regards to the skill set that he has from a journalistic and communications point of view, but also the way that he's committed to it by even quitting a full-time job and moving here to Brighton to really make the dream happen is an amazing thing.
Barney, I would say, doesn't give the impression of being a complete soft-centered person, but he is completely soft when you actually speak to him and very kind in the work that he does. And how he interacts with others. Barney
is the most organised person I have ever met. He's incredibly passionate, and you can tell that when you speak to him that it comes through. It's authentic and it's organic. The way that his values are expressed through the work that he does for Football for Future. He's very altruistic. He cares about people and he cares about the planet as well. He's also brilliant at karaoke. He's thrown himself head over heels into the organisation. He's got this vision and he's been so driven in achieving that, and he's really making the dream come to reality by fostering a culture of community and care and belief within our network of volunteers here at Football for Future in a way that's completely invaluable.
Winner of the Volunteer of the Year Award, Alumni category, and recipient of the Medal for Social Responsibility is Barnaby Weston. Now, before we move to our next category, it is with great pleasure that I introduce our keynote speaker, who's going to talk to us about his experience working with student volunteers at Mustard Tree. Mustard Tree is an organisation which provides long-term solutions for the homeless and marginalised across Greater Manchester. So could everyone please join me in welcoming Harry Dwan.
Thanks, Catherine, and thanks to the university for inviting me to speak. As Catherine mentioned, I'm Harry, and I've worked for Mustard Tree, a Greater Manchester poverty and homelessness charity, for the last 3 years. At Mustard Tree, we, frankly, rely on volunteers to operate. We simply couldn't meet the demand, the need, or help as many people as we do without your support. In the first 12 months of the pandemic, for example, over 460 people, including a large cohort of university students, alumni and staff, helped Mustard Tree adapt to the changing need, picking, packing and delivering food across Greater Manchester. Since then, Well, as a University of Manchester graduate, I'm naturally cynical, pessimistic, and have low expectations. But I was and continue to be utterly blown away by the commitment, capability, and willingness to help that this city and new students have shown. Student artists teach our creative classes. On their days off, retail workers run our community shops and food clubs, to name a few. And every Christmas, Fran organises a crack squad of volunteers to help us sort donations, pack parcels, and provide support services. These volunteers kept and keep the charity alive, providing dignity, opportunity, and a hand up to thousands of people each month. However, to only talk about Mustard Tree's experiences does a great disservice to other students who have overcome essays, deadlines, part-time jobs, and exams to give up their own time, to innovate, to determine a need, to build a cooperative, a social enterprise, and then independently go out and combat that problem, right that injustice, is beyond incredible. When I was a student here, I just drank, ate pizza and complained, wishing somebody else would do something. And you're here actively promoting sustainability, promoting community, providing the dignity of fulfilling activities and the decency of sanitary products to rough sleepers, giving up your own nights out to make sure other people are safe. At the absolute least, this makes you inherently good people. But really, it makes you a reassuring hope for the future. It can't be understated that you as students have done all this, and you're more than deserving of this celebration and a non-batch cooked meal. Maybe, however, this shouldn't come as a surprise. Greater Manchester is a community built on volunteering. From the suffragette movement and trade union growth to the plethora of modern cooperatives and charities, with this university being a catalyst for all of it, it brings you here to the city. It provides a platform for you to link into, to meet like-minded people. Coffee at Milk and Honey in the morning, running an anonymous support line in the afternoon. We're amid one of the most difficult periods in modern history. Housing, homelessness, poverty, fuel, climate, health, and humanitarian crises. Many more people falling into poverty, relying on food clubs. Those in poverty having to make more and more undignified choices. This is the Manchester you're all inheriting. This is the Manchester that you must bring the same passion, energy, and drive to. Charities are struggling, people are struggling, but amongst all the genuine good you do and changes you pioneer, there's one extra special consequence. Your work motivates others to step up, to get involved, and to help solve these crises. If bloody busy students can do all this, then I have no excuse. You're leading the way, and you should be incredibly proud of that. Whilst I do feel obligated to say, come and volunteer with and donate to Mustard Tree, I'm more excited to see what new initiatives you develop and how you continue to create a greater Manchester where everybody is connected, contributing, and valued. Thanks very much. Next up, we've got the University Staff category.
Wow, how do I follow that? That was a great, wonderful, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nalin Thacker, Vice President for Social Responsibility for our university. I'm delighted to be here with you all today, celebrating and recognizing the incredible work that all our staff, students and alumni do in volunteering for our local communities. I'm passionate about our university leading the way, delivering its commitment on social responsibility and civic engagement, and making a difference, real difference, to our local communities and beyond that. And we can see from participation in the awards today that that same passion is shared by our staff, our students and our alumni as they work to make a difference through volunteering. It is my pleasure to announce the winners in staff category. We're recognizing two people today. In second place is a graduate teaching assistant in the School of Social Sciences. Since 2013, she has been part of Rethink Rebuild to support Syrian children back into schools through extensive fundraising efforts. Please join me in congratulating Galia Samani. The winner of the staff category is a lecturer in nursing. volunteers for an online crisis helpline called Shout, supporting those who are struggling to cope. This volunteer goes above and beyond by often volunteering through the night and choosing shifts at the busiest times for the service, including at Christmas and New Year.
As a lecturer in the Division of Nursing, Midwifery and Social Work, Florian has a role in both teaching and research. In terms of teaching, he teaches our undergraduate adult nursing students, and he's proved to be a very dedicated individual. He's a valued member of the team. In terms of his research, he does research with prison populations focusing on their mental health. And obviously they're a difficult population to do research with. And I think his commitment to doing research in such difficult populations demonstrates his ability and willingness to look at the well-being of all sorts of people across the spectrum.
He's also very selfless and very generous in his actions. I've lived with him for about 6 years now, so I've got to know him quite well. He does do this volunteering for this online crisis helpline called Shout, where he can help people in times of need. He can direct them to the appropriate services, and he can call emergency services if anyone's in any imminent danger.
To me, Florian is a very caring person, and he's got a passion to want to improve experiences in life for other people. He's always doing something, trying to improve himself and develop his career, and he likes to keep fit. He's always out running. Passes me in the street sometimes, but it's always quite funny.
Florian's volunteering has impacted the lives of so many. He spoke to over 300 people on the Shout crisis helpline, and he's always wanted to do shifts such as Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, when other volunteers might not be able to. He's always been there to help people, to support people. This is especially true during the pandemic when people have been isolated from loved ones. He's always been there to help them and to guide them and to reassure them that things are going to get better.
Florian is a very unique individual. He's a very kind, empathetic person who listens to people. He seems to be very caring, and I think that's coming out in the volunteering that he's been doing, and I think that is also something which means he is well deserved of this award.
I nominated Florian because he shows extreme dedication to helping people. He works a full-time job and he still dedicates his evenings and weekends, often till 2 or 3 in the morning, volunteering for Shout. And I think this is why he thoroughly deserves this award.
The overall winner of the Volunteer of the Year Award staff category and the recipient of the University Medal for Social Responsibility is Dr. Florian Walter. Now hand over to our next presenter.
Hello, I'm Kirsty Hutchison and I'm one of the members of the University Volunteer team, and we are so pleased to be here today because we interact with students on an everyday basis that really are passionate about volunteering.
For those of you who know her, you may have noticed that I am not Emma Richardson. I'm afraid that she couldn't join us today, so I'm filling in. I'm Jennifer Mackay, and I've had the pleasure of working with students for the last 4 years through our Students' Union. So, on to the awards. Our final category recognises the amazing work of our student volunteers. These awards are given in collaboration with the University of Manchester Students' Union. The field was so strong this year that we do have a very long list of winners to share with you today.
So, the first of our commended students studies dentistry. She is founder of the Manchester Outreach Dentists, leading a team delivering workshops for prospective dental students from disadvantaged backgrounds. Please welcome our first student winner, Manal Hamad.
The second commended student studies biomedical sciences. He currently leads the Strathclyde project, which provides weekly activity sessions in a shelter for women and children. He couldn't join us today, but let's put our hands together for Andrew Silverwood.
Our third commended student is from the School of Medical Sciences. She is the leader of Manchester Outreach Medics, empowering young people with knowledge about medical school and life as a doctor. She can't be here today, but please put your hands together for Alicia Steele.
The next commended student is also from Medical Sciences. As co-lead for Manchester Med Ahead, he has developed the student-led mentoring programme, linking medical students with foundation programme doctors. Again, he's unfortunately not with us today, but let's congratulate Matan Bone.
The next commended nomination is for a student studying optometry. She founded a healthcare careers fair to encourage school pupils to consider healthcare professions through offering a range of events and resources. Give it up for Laura Josephs.
The final commended nomination is for a student who's studying law. He organises and leads a team of volunteers who run a weekly social group for adults with additional needs. It's Tyler Ross.
We also have several highly commended nominees. So our first highly commended nomination is for a student from the School of Health Sciences. They've set up Manchester Independent Students Project and provides a range of activities to address the isolation and loneliness that students who are estranged from their families often experience. Please welcome Sid King.
Our second highly commended student is undertaking a Masters of Engineering. He is the leader of Beco Bikes, supporting more students to cycle and raising awareness around cyclist safety. He can't join us today, but let's put our hands together for Charlie Major.
Our next highly commended student studies in the Department of Mathematics. She is the manager of over 120 volunteers for the Blue Letters Left Behind Children Care Centre, which sends letters to vulnerable children in China. They can't be with us today, but let's put our hands together for Jiayu Yang.
Our next highly commended student is from the School of Social Sciences. She has worked with a local shelter for women who are seeking refuge from abusive situations, organising a team of volunteers to deliver cooking sessions. It's Katie Howe.
Our next highly commended student studies geography. She is our last winner's co-lead, also organising activities at the Women's Shelter. She isn't here today, but let's congratulate Millie Elwell.
Our next highly commended student is from the School of Biological Sciences. As one of the project coordinators for Student Action, she supports fellow students to run children's projects. It's Monica Kilio-Taitite.
The final highly commended student studies mathematics. Having volunteered for a number of years at a local Oxfam shop, in the past year he has taken a lead role to ensure the store remains open, recruiting and supporting other volunteers and helping to manage the shop. They can't be here today, but it's Daniel Winstanley.
The judging was so difficult this year that, incredibly, we have not one, not two, but 3 joint third place winners. Our first third place student studies geography. Under her leadership, Incredible Edible has gone from strength to strength, building partnerships to provide fresh fruit and vegetables in the local community. It's Alice Wheatley.
Our second third place student studies dentistry. She founded Dentists in Primary Schools. The oral hygiene workshops they deliver are directly tackling oral health inequality. They can't be here today, but let's celebrate Yasmin Igonu.
Our final third place student studies criminology. Volunteering with the Manchester Refugee Support Network, this volunteer, amongst other activities, has helped more than 50 clients successfully apply for naturalisation and another 50 to apply for indefinite leave to remain. It's Leah Clavery-Paul.
The judges have also chosen 2 second place winners. Our 2 second place students are both leaders in the same project and both study educational psychology. Together they lead Reading Mentors, working weekly with a local primary school on different literacy interventions to help children practice their reading. Let's invite them on stage together. It's Kena Ho and Rihanna Farzinzia.
And finally, the winner of the individual student category is studying medicine. He volunteers at a university, local and national level on widening participation projects. He runs outreach sessions on how to get into medicine in his local area of Wigan. Has developed a Future Medic curriculum for schools, is part of a national forum to improve widening participation initiatives, and is the Northwest lead for national charity AIMS Guide, mentoring students on a one-to-one basis and matching other volunteers to budding students. If that weren't enough, he is also a student liaison officer for the Royal Medical Benevolent Fund, which provides financial support and advice to medical students and doctors.
I've known Rob since he was in third year of medical school. He did a project with me on widening participation, and I realised there was so much passion there that we've been working together on local and national projects.
I initially met Rob through his work with the peer mentoring scheme for medicine, both with the Year 1 and 2 scheme and then with the clinical year scheme, where he's heavily involved and became student coordinator for both of those schemes.
Rob is actively involved in a number of community activities here in the university and locally, as well as nationally. He's been involved in widening participation work in Wigan, where he's from, for the last 4 years. In terms of other charities involved in, he's the student rep for the Royal Medical Benevolent Fund, and also he's the Northwest lead for Ames Guide, which is a charity that works with budding widening participation students and links them up with keen medical students. So he's involved in that as a mentor and helping to buddy up other students as well.
Rob's passion with widening participation really stems from his own personal experiences in Wigan. And what he's done is he's gone back to those communities in Wigan and given back. And he's been an ultimate role model there, and he's given them so many tips to those kids from widening participation backgrounds, that opportunity to consider medicine as a career. And his work was so good that it was recognised at the National Medical Schools Widening Participation Conference, which is for medical students. He was an integral member of that team that designed and delivered that conference, but he delivered an amazing workshop to show how to engage with Year 9 pupils.
I believe Rob has made a real impact. He gives young people and students role models so they can see themselves becoming medical students and doctors where perhaps they never would have thought they could achieve that. Applying to medical school is a bit more complicated than the simple UCAS process, and he will help with that. But also he's put a curriculum in place to help the schools continue this work after he graduates as a doctor.
I think Rob has really demonstrated that he's motivated by a vision of inclusivity. I think he's really demonstrated excellent leadership skills and definitely a lot of self-determination. That's meant he's been able to develop these strategies and definitely to make a change within the community.
Rob has an infectious enthusiasm that draws people into the projects that he's involved in. He's enthusiastic and dynamic, and you can see how hard he works from the breadth of the projects that he's involved in. Not only that, he's done really well academically, coming 14th out of over 470 students in his year. I really think he's an excellent candidate for Volunteer of the Year.
The overall winner for the Volunteer of the Year Award, student category, and recipient of the University Medal for Social Responsibility is Robert Cartwright Speakman.
Achievement has gone into all of the volunteering projects that we've seen today. I'm completely overwhelmed by the impact that you have had on people and those in the communities of which you've supported, and I hope you are all incredibly proud of yourselves and what you have achieved. The time, energy and effort that you have put into supporting and assisting others is truly inspirational, and we know that you will take that positive work ethic forwards with you in your careers and your lives thereafter. I would like to give a special thanks to Catherine Barnes and Faye Broadbent, who have truly gone above and beyond to make this event a success. And of course, Lindsay Gilbert, our beating heart of volunteering here at the university. So this brings us to the end of our awards today, but to finish, we're going to leave you with a short message from organisations that came together earlier this year to take part in the University's Student Volunteering Week. After the film, could all those of you who have received a certificate please come back to the stage for photographs, while everyone else please feel free to tuck into lunch and drinks at the back of the hall. So thank you all very much for coming and for your time and energy this afternoon. Thank you.
Student volunteers are hugely important to us here in Greater Manchester, from the vaccine volunteering programme to helping maintain some of our green spaces and supporting local people, both young and old. So, a huge thank you from us all to all the students who give their time to support our communities.
I just wanted to say a big thank you to all of our student volunteers who've helped us this year with our work towards helping children living on the streets of Jinja in Uganda to return home to their families.
I just want to thank the student volunteers for all their incredible hard work, and as a local councillor I can see the positive difference that work makes.
I just want to say a big thank you to the student volunteers who've been helping so much during the pandemic over the last 2 years. They've been helping us here in Old Moat Park with leaf clearing, putting bark chippings into the dog area, and behind me with our planted raised area.
I just want to say a massive thank you to all the student volunteers who helped in the vaccination rollout. With your help and support, we have delivered over 1 million vaccinations to the people of Manchester. That is an amazing effort, and we couldn't have done it without you. Thank you.
All of us here at Shout 85258 want to say a huge thank you. In 2021, we took around 500,000 conversations supporting those in distress. We couldn't do it without you, so thank you.
Hi, a huge thank you from Manchester Vineyard and the 422 Community Hub to all of the student volunteers from the University of Manchester who have been into the building helping us to prepare it for our community. You've sanded and prepared the banister, you've scraped the floor, you've been scraping paint, painting radiators, doing loads of stuff across the building to prepare this space for our community. We're so thankful and we can't wait for all that's ahead.
I just wanted to say a huge thank you to you all. What you're doing makes a difference every day to people in Manchester. Keep doing it, guys, and once again, huge thank you.
Could everyone with a certificate come to stage, please, and everybody else, please help yourself to lunch.